All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the Next Steps T3 event. Let's talk next steps for T3. Tonight, we're just going to kind of do a little PowerPoint just to kind of go over what your next steps are as an accepted UTA student. And then if y'all have questions, feel free to share those in the Q&A. We have people here from UTA and T3 to answer questions in the chat, so feel free to drop those in the Q&A so that we can make sure we get any of your questions answered. And so without further ado, I'll go ahead and share my PowerPoint here. All right. Awesome. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Michael Klink. I am the Assistant Director for Educational Partners at UTA, and so basically I work with the undergraduate student population at UTA, specifically with specific partnerships like T3. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to get any of your questions answered. So that we can make the transition from your high school to UTA as successful as possible. So first things first, just kind of going over the T3 partnership, and we are lucky enough to have Dr. Kapua with us today. She is the Director of College and Career Success at the T3 partnership. So I'm actually going to share her screen and give her an opportunity to introduce herself and talk about T3.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Michael. Can you hear me okay, everyone? Perfect.
Yeah,
well, welcome, Michael, Amanda, Carla with UTA. Thank you so much for hosting this special session. Students and families, those that are with us, thank you for taking some time out of your evening to join us. On behalf of T3 and our entire team, we are so honored to have you part of this particular program. Again, my name is Rachel Carranza Capua. Capua is a very hard last name to say, so I had colleagues a few years back give me the nickname Dr. Cap, and it's quite fitting because our team at T3 here on the College and Career Success side is wanting to help you get your cap and gown. Our goal is to help you get to graduation. You've already done a you've made a big step. You've applied to UTA. You've been accepted to UTA. Congratulations. And these are sessions to help ensure that you have everything you need to get to the other side. So we want to make sure that you successfully enroll in classes in the fall, that you have everything that you need. And what's even more special as we celebrate you and your next steps is that you're the first cohort of scholars in the T3 partnership. If you have gotten emails from us and text messages from us, perhaps, maybe you've been to our website, I know you completed the pledge. We're in our first year of this program. The pledge closed this last Friday, and we have nearly 6,000 juniors and seniors in Fort Worth ISD who have completed the pledge. So you are one of those 6,000 students. And what's exciting about this is that we have a team now that is going to help you even to and through your whole UTA experience. And so today's session, you're going to learn about what that looks like, what that means to be a T3 scholar in college. But the biggest thing that we want to help you know for tonight, and this is just the beginning of our journey together, is that we're with you every step of the way. So now to graduation. So we look forward to connecting with you. Thank you again to UTA for hosting this session, and I'll be in the chat and happy to answer any questions that you have about community service, which the deadline is July 31st. We'll talk a little bit about that, about the bridge program that UTA and T3 are partnering on to make sure you're successful this next summer before you start classes in the fall. And then what does persistence coaching look like? And that really just means we're going to come alongside you over these next few years to make sure that you're successful. So onward and upward, congratulations for getting to this step, and look forward to visiting with you soon. So Michael, I'll turn it back over to you, and thanks so much for having me tonight.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cap. We're really happy that you could be here with us and talk to our students. I know they're really excited about the partnership just as much as we are. So we'll get back to the PowerPoint here. And so she did a great job of explaining what the T3 partnership is and what it can do to help our students. And so we're really happy to be a part of this of the program. So we'll go ahead and move on here. Let me see. There we go. All right. So before we kind of get into the next steps, as incoming UTA students and future Mavericks, what I kind of wanted to do was talk about what's going on at UTA right now. So there's a couple really awesome things happening at UTA, and these things are things that happen all over the course of the year. So right now we have a civil engineering professor who's leading a project who's actually working with the city of Arlington to look at the roads in Arlington and the surrounding area, looking at the lifespan of those roads using AI and machine learning. The Move-In Mavs, who are the collegiate wheelchair basketball team, have won their 9th national championship. So we're really proud of them. And really high on the Move-In Mavs. They're really awesome, and definitely once everyone is vaccinated and is safe, we definitely recommend to go see a game. We'll be celebrating our graduates of last year and spring 2020 with in-person commencement at the Globe Life Field. There will be a virtual option as well. So really cool opportunity to finally get to those students. Recently, we partnered with a Rapid, which is a self-driving shuttle service that's free for UTA students. And so you can actually set up appointments, kind of schedule when you want one of those to come pick you up and take you across campus, which is maybe some of you are maybe braver than me. I don't know if I would try it out yet, but it sounds like it's a really cool experience. Maybe I'd try it one time, just to check it out, because it sounds really cool. And then another thing is we do have a bioengineering professor who's working on less invasive treatments for artery disease. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because this professor actually got funding to have doctoral students involved, but also undergraduate students involved. So to talk about the resources that we have on campus at UTA, so we have our SAR Center, the Student Access and Resource Center. So if you are a student who needs those extra time taking tests or something like that, this is the office that you're going to go to, who will work with your professor to help you with if you need those additional resources in class. We have our Lockheed Martin Career Development Center, which can help you with getting internships or even getting an on-campus job. Once you're an alumni, if you need assistance brushing up your resume or something, they're happy to sit down with you and talk to you about that. There's something that there's a program called Maverick Advantage that we're really proud of and we really love, and we would love for all of our students to get involved in. And there's 5 facets of Maverick Advantage that they focus on, and those are career development, community engagement, global engagement, leadership development, and undergraduate research. So you can see that we want to be involved in our local community, but we also want to be involved on the global scale, and that helps us with learning. It really helps with really expanding your horizons, right? So really fantastic program to be a part of. We also have our honors college for our high achieving students with additional scholarship and research opportunities. If you're needing assistance in class, we have tutoring, academic success coaching, and SI sessions. We have our multicultural center, and then once you get on campus, there's over 300 student organizations to join. And whether you you find something that you fit in with or not, you can always start your own organization too. And this is great. This is really great opportunities for students to not only meet new friends, build those relationships, but also get started on building those career connections as well. So, as much as I would love for going to college to be free. It's not, so I do want to talk a little bit about UTA's cost of attendance, and in the following couple slides here, I'll talk a little bit about ways to help out with that. But looking at what your tuition and fees is, your housing, your meal plans, or if you're staying at home, of course, a lot of times people don't think about, especially students, they tend to not think about, well, I'm going to be staying at home, but you still have to pay to buy food and things like that. So we try to factor in everything whenever we look at how much it costs to come to UTA for a year. And so this is what it looks like. Obviously, if you're just looking at your tuition costs, your cost for your classes, you're going to be focused on that tuition and fees number. That's going to be for a full-time, so 12 hours or more a semester. And so you can see it's around $12,000. And another reason why I like to bring this up, and this is probably my favorite chart, I've used this so many times in different presentations, and the reason that I use it and what it shows simply is, basically the higher education you have, the higher degree you have, the more money you're going to earn, right? And this chart is specifically looking at is weekly earnings. So you can see that going from an associate's degree up to a bachelor's degree increases your potential for median earnings by about 50%, and that's a huge number, and that really helps. It really does go a long way over time. And what the left side of the chart shows is unemployment rate. And so you can see the higher degree you have, the less likely percentage-wise that you're going to be unemployed. So as you gain a higher degree, the more money you're going to make, and also the less likely you're going to be unemployed. And another reason I bring this up is because UTA has been ranked #1 in North Texas for return on investment. So our graduates are making more money right out of college. There was actually a study done specifically within the UT system, but looking at first year, graduates in their first year and how much money they're making. Graduates from UTA were making the most. So we're really, if you're looking to get the most out of that investment that I showed you previously, UTA is the perfect place to be. All right, so one thing that I wanted to do was actually show y'all a really great guide that our financial aid office sent to me. And this is how to accept your financial aid, because one of the next steps that you're going to want to do as a UTA student is accept your financial aid package. And our financial aid packages have started going out. So it's on this website, and I'll show you where it is on this website. And what I'm going to do when I get to this website is click on this big orange box right here that says accepting your financial aid offer step-by-step guide. So let me open this up. All right, let me just make sure that y'all can see that. Okay, hold on 1 second, guys. And let me get this pulled up real quick. There we go. So this is what that website looks like, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down right here to check out the guide. And so to accept your financial aid package, this is a really awesome step-by-step guide on how to do it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to log into your MyMav. So if you've been accepted to UTA, you've probably logged into your MyMav before, but if you haven't, you definitely want to make sure that you go through that process to set up your MyMav. You'll go to your MyMav, log in, and then you'll click on this big financial aid tile right here, and that should bring you to your financial aid package. And then on the left-hand side of that page, you'll see accept, decline. You'll want to click on that, and that will bring up this is an example financial aid package, what you may have already seen, or just to let you guys know, our financial aid office, they have started awarding, but they're just starting to send those out. So if you haven't seen anything yet, check your MyMav, see if there's anything that may be missing, but if not, it's probably on the way. So this is what a financial aid package may look like in MyMav. And then what you're going to do is to accept anything you want, you're going to click on this little edit button. And then once you click edit, it will allow you to click on these drop down boxes right here. So, you know, if I'm a student and I've got my financial aid package and I see this federal Pell Grant, I'm like, ooh, grant funding, absolutely, I want to accept that. So I'm going to click on the accept button right there. And then once you click accept, you'll see on the right hand side over here, this offered or this accepted went from 0 to the full amount of that award. Now you can see in this case, we haven't accepted any of our loans, and that's okay. You don't have to, if you've been offered loans and you don't know if you need them or not, that's okay. You can hold off on accepting those if you want to. You have plenty of time to figure that out, but you definitely want to go in and accept any grant funding that you've got on there. Or if you've been offered something like work study, those awards you definitely want to go in there and accept as soon as possible. You can see here, if for some reason you hate free money and you want to decline your federal Pell Grant, you can actually do that. You hit decline and the offered amount will go to 0. Definitely don't do that. But this is just an example to see what it would look like. And then if for some reason you do this by accident, you can't figure out how to change it back, there is a reset option. So you can click on reset and that will change everything right back to the way it was. So you can see it's been reset here. So once you've accepted that award, there is one other step, and that's to click submit. So you'll want to go ahead and click submit, and then you'll get this screen right here. Do you want to submit this award decision? And then once you click it, you'll get this little confirmation at the top that says your award decision was submitted successfully. So that's that lets you know what you submitted went through. Now you'll see up here, these loans are still sitting here. So this means this student in particular, they still have those loans available, so they can go back into this screen and accept loans at another time if they need to, or if they figure out, okay, well, actually, I don't need those, they can come back in at a later date and decline them. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get back to our PowerPoint. There we go. All right. So the next thing you're going to want to look at doing is getting registered for New Maverick Orientation. And what New Maverick Orientation is it's an opportunity for you to get familiar with campus, learn about your academic expectations, learn about the different involvement opportunities that are going to be on campus, and also just familiarize yourself with the campus. If you've never been to campus before, this is a great opportunity for you to come to campus and learn, see where things are, where your classes might be, where the student center is, where all of your resources are. And so once you should actually be receiving a registration invitation to your UTA email. So if you haven't set that UTA email up, you'll definitely want to make sure you do that as well. And that's not just for new students and kind of before you're a student, you'll be using that UTA email as a student at UTA as well. So our orientation sessions are 2-day sessions. We are offering virtual and in-person orientation sessions. So if you're still not comfortable with coming to campus, we totally understand, and we still want to provide you with an orientation experience. So there is a virtual option if you decide that you don't want to come in person. However, if you do want to come in person, there is that option for you too. In-person sessions do include a required overnight stay. So you'll be staying in one of our residence halls, Vandergrift Hall specifically. So, this is what I did whenever I went to orientation in college. It's a pretty typical experience, but especially if you come in person, it really is a great opportunity to meet fellow students who are going to be coming to UTA and already starting to build those connections. Familiarize yourself with the campus and learn about traditions, all those really important things that we want you to know about before you're actually a student on our campus. There will also be an academic advising session. as a part of orientation. So that's going to be either before or during orientation. So once you register for orientation, another email that you'll likely see to your UTA email is registration for that academic advising session. So I know that they are gonna try to take advantage of the virtual life that we've started to live and try to get some of those out of the way before the orientation sessions actually take place. But that's going to be a one-on-one meeting with your academic advisor, and they're going to talk about what classes you've taken. They're going to talk about, maybe you have dual credit classes or something and how those are going to factor into your degree plan. In addition to orientation for our T3 students, there is going to be an additional transition bridge program that's going to be required for our T3 scholars. So be on the lookout for that, guys. And that's part of the bridge programming that we were talking about with the T3 partnership. We really want to help you guys make that transition from being a high school student to a college student. And let me tell you, all of us who are here who have been through that process know that it is a big change. So you really want to make sure that you take advantage of those resources that are available to you, especially that bridge programming. You'll also find some pre-orientation to-dos to take care of. So some of these you can go ahead and take care of now. For instance, if you have your meningitis records, you can go ahead and send those into us. There's also something called the UTA registration agreement that you'll see on your MyMav. So make sure to take care of that as well. You'll need to do that before it'll actually let you register for classes. There's also TSI testing. So if you haven't taken your TSI or your TSI exempt, or you're not TSI exempt, excuse me, you'll want to make sure that you register for a TSI test so that you can, again, register for classes. This is going to be needed before you can register for classes. To check that status, you just look on your MyMav. Your MyMav will show you what your TSI status is. If you took TSI testing somewhere else and you have those scores, make sure to send those into us so we can get that cleared up for you. There's also math placement testing. This is for specific majors, so you may see this on your MyMav too. Be on the lookout for that. And then once you actually graduate from high school, you'll definitely want to make sure you send us that final transcript that shows us that you've graduated from high school, you have a graduation date, what your final grades are. Do you have any additional dual credit you need to send to us? Do you have any AP or IB courses or placement, or not placement tests, but AP test, IB tests that you need to send in to us? Make sure that you do that and we highly recommend to do it before orientation so that whenever you're sitting down with your academic advisor, they have the most up-to-date information to help you register for classes, because they don't want to tell you, oh, you need to sign up for this class, but you already took that as dual credit, or maybe you tested out of it through AP, right? So you definitely want to make sure you send those in. Another thing, I talked about it a little bit before, but activating that UTA email account, make sure you do that if you haven't done so. And then if you're wanting to stay on campus in a residence hall or in a university apartment that surrounds UTA, make sure you complete your housing application so that you can start to fill those spots, because I know that the spots in the university housing go really quick. So here's just kind of a little flow chart that kind of goes over everything as far as what your next steps are and as far as getting enrolled. I talked about all of these things before, but this is just kind of a good little flow chart if you want to take a screenshot or a picture really quick to kind of help you, create a checklist or something like that. So you want to, again, register for orientation and make sure you complete any pre-orientation items that come up. If you haven't already completed your financial aid, your FAFSA or your TASFA, make sure to send those in. Accept your awards through your MyMav so that you can, get those locked in, whatever you need. take your TSI test or submit your scores, or if you're exempt, you can check that on your mind map too, but make sure that you take a look at that because you want to make sure you do that before orientation. And then you'll also want to, you'll also be, again, attending your advising appointment. So again, any dual credit, AP, your final transcript, make sure we get those in. And then you'll be able to attend or actually attend orientation, whether that's online or in person. And then anytime, kind of in this period, you want to make sure you submit your meningitis records, but you do have to submit those before you can enroll. So it's really important to get those into. All right, so that's kind of the ending of my presentation here. You can see my contact information on the left-hand side there. Feel free to, again, grab a screenshot or a picture if you need to, or really cool, you can scan that QR code that'll take you to my virtual contact card, and that will have all of my information on there as well. And then if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Of course, you're here today, so we're happy to answer any questions in the Q&A. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. Give me 1 sec. All right, guys. So that concludes the presentation portion. So let me take a look here through our Q&A and see if there's anything that hasn't been answered yet. So I'll just kind of start at the top, even though this has already been answered. I'll just kind of put it out there for everyone and kind of highlight Carla's answers to some of these. But is the T3 pledge free tuition guaranteed, or is there any requirements such as maintaining a certain GPA? So and Carla did a great job of answering this. By completing the T3 pledge, students are eligible to receive a last dollar tuition only award to UTA for up to eight long semesters. So you may see that in your award package if you qualify for that, if you're income eligible. So be on the lookout for that. And just to kind of clarify, it's not going to specifically say T3 award on it, okay? But what it will likely do is, you'll see that, okay, this covers the estimated tuition. And so if you have any questions about that, you want me to check on that or anything, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to look at that. And just to address the second part of that, are there any certain requirements such as maintaining a certain GPA? Throughout your college career, you will have to maintain a 2.5 GPA or higher to continue to receive it. And you will also need to make sure that you're submitting your FAFSA or your TAFSA before the priority date every year, completing any verification items to make sure that you're continuing to receive that. Does the Lockheed Martin Career Development Center give any internships or jobs located at the Lockheed Martin facility, or do they just sponsor it? Yeah, and Carla did a great job of answering this question as well. It's both. So they sponsor it and they partner with us, but they do also offer internships for at Lockheed Martin. Next question, could my credits transfer from UTA to UT Austin? So yeah, I mean, if you took college courses here at UTA, technically, those courses could transfer to UT Austin. However, each college is different and each program is different. You never know how the transfer process is going to work, especially in certain programs. So, for instance, just from personal experience, we've seen students who have done, if you took a specific math course or something like that, and then you go to a different major at a different school, that may not transfer, exactly how you want to. So, And the orientation, will we stay overnight in the same room with someone else, or will we get to choose? That is a great question. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to be doing the room share, addressing the room sharing situation because of COVID and everything moving back to that. Carla, do you happen to know? Have they given us any information about that?
To my understanding, students will have the option to have a roommate. Whether they can select a roommate that they would prefer, not sure. They'd have to contact orientation at uta.edu to get more information. Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, Carla said, as Carla said, you will have the option to have a roommate. We definitely recommend to reach out to the orientation office at this point, just to double check with them. Let's see here. When we complete the disbursement authorization, can we still make changes after we select one of the two options? Yes, you can. What does the bridge program consist of? So the bridge program is going to be it's going to be an additional kind of transition bridge program that will, again, it's really designed to help you make the transition from a high school student to a college student. We're still working on exactly what it's going to be called and what exactly will go into it, but more information is coming on that soon. Who can I talk to see if my credits will transfer today? Are you asking about like dual credit coming into UTA? If that's the case, then you would definitely want to talk to an academic advisor. That's going to be your #1 go-to in that case. So you know, if what I would recommend is go ahead, you know, register for orientation, then reach out to that academic advising office to see if there's someone that you can talk to. Do you know how we will know when we get the T3 scholarship, and is it in our award package right now? So again, you won't actually see T3 award on your award package if you receive it. I know that some students have already been awarded, and we are working on, for the students who did receive the award, we are going to be sending out a communication to those students soon. So you should be just be on the lookout for that. You should be getting a communication soon that lets you know. Will there be a recording of this session available? That is a great question. I believe so. I'll be honest, this is the first time that I have used the Teams presentation view. I believe that it does automatically record. So if it does and you would like it, feel free to reach out to me and I can definitely send that to you. I'm still learning about Teams as well. One of the funny thing is, one of the reasons we chose to use Teams is because if you have any virtual classes at UTA, we actually use Teams, and so we wanted to kind of get students a little bit familiar with how it's going to look and everything. So but funny enough, I'm still learning about it too. So if it's not recorded, then, you know, if there's any information you need, just feel free to let me know. Are there single dorm rooms available? And Carla just answered that for us, but yes, there are private rooms available for students. You can check those out at the link that she sent. And if you have any specific questions, you can reach out to the housing office about those. I know this is probably a dumb question, but in the financial aid summary, is our FAFSA included, or how does that work? Yeah, so FAFSA is the form that you fill out to apply for the financial aid. So if you have been awarded, it will be under that that financial aid award tab that I showed y'all before. Let me see if I can push that out to y'all again. Give me 1 sec. And there we go. Yeah, So, excuse me, if you click on your financial aid tile right here, it will bring you to this screen. Now, under summary, what you're going to do, don't go to summary, go to this accept/decline tab. Whenever you click on that, it will pull up your award package, and you should see something similar to this. If you don't see anything here yet, you may not have been awarded yet. So like I said, they're still working on pushing those awards out to students.
Michael, there is one student who asked, I turned in my tax transcript in about 2 days after the deadline. Will that mess up anything?
That's a great question. So for the T3 Last Dollar Award, we did set, or there was a date that we basically wanted all of our documents to be submitted by, and that date was March 25th. If we received anything after that, students will still be considered for that last dollar tuition award on a first come first served basis, whether there is space available in the program and also funding available for that award. So again, be on the lookout for your financial aid package. Be on the lookout for the email that lets you know if you're receiving that award. We'll be sending those out soon. How will we know if we are awarded the last dollar tuition award? Again, you should be, if you did receive it, we are working on that that communication to be sent out as hopefully soon. You should be getting that if you did get it. If you've already been awarded, then and your awards look like they're going to cover your tuition, you probably received the award. All right, it looks like we've got kind of a little bit of a lull in the questions here. We also have Amanda Nickerson, who is our executive director for enrollment management. So I'm going to push her live and let her talk to you all a little bit. I know she wanted to say hi, so give me 1 second. There you go, Amanda.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing tonight? I'd really like to chat, and I would love if you would introduce yourself in the chat. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I am a first-generation college student myself, and I also went to UT Arlington, where I got my bachelor degree. So I want to echo a big thanks to Michael, to Carla, and to Dr. Cap from T3, because I know firsthand, I can tell you right away what Michael was showing you tonight in his slides. That is absolutely accurate. The data he showed you about how getting your bachelor degree changes your life and opens up job opportunities that you probably never even imagined existed. And the opportunities at UTA are so, there's so many opportunities. You can never find something that you're really interested in that you wouldn't find a match for, with 300 clubs and organizations and 180 academic programs. We're right here in the backyard, so I really can't say enough about the high quality research, top rankings. University of Texas at Arlington also has top diversity. So it's a university that you can really, really be proud of. It's a great achievement to you that you have all been admitted, and I'm so proud of you. So I really want to encourage you to follow through all the way to graduation, and do not stop till you get your cap and gown, like Dr. Capua said. We are really proud of you. There's a lot of student support at UTA, so we're with you every step of the way. And so please reach out, introduce yourself, let us help you if you have any questions. Continue reaching out to Carla Hernandez, your admission counselor, or Michael Klink as well. Can help you with any of those T3 questions that you may have. And throughout the summer, Dr. Capua will also be in touch with you for more events with T3. But again, thank you for coming tonight. Congratulations to each and every one of you for being accepted. I would like to turn it back over to see if anyone else has any last words. Anyone on the call tonight? Any new questions come in on the chat?
Amanda, just a couple quick things, if you can hear me okay. I just put, for everyone, I put our main T3 website in the chat so that you have that. It's just t3partnership.org. And we will have, of course, UTA specific information on that site ongoing, but every so often, highly recommend just checking that website out. Any program updates, any checklists, videos, information about bridge programming, anything that we have, we'll make sure we put it in that one spot for you. And that way you always know where to go. There's a UTA T3 page as well that I shared earlier in the night. That's also a place you can get UTA specific information, but we'll always make sure to house the latest and greatest there for you. The number one thing, just to echo again, please ask questions. We want to help make sure this is a streamlined process as much as possible. And so we have a UTA T3 email address that we'll put in the chat. You can also email support@t3partnership.org anytime, and we'll get you to the right place. And I think, you know, one thing that all of us will agree, this is not always the easiest process, right? But because and when you are persistent and you know, our hope is to keep you encouraged throughout every step. Ask questions when you don't know what to do. Ask questions. Ask. So we're with you every step of the way, and just know that you can contact us via email. And again, we'll put that in there. And want to echo Amanda again. Congratulations to each of you, and we're looking forward to our next step. So I'll put my information in the chat too if you need to reach out. But Michael, Carla, Amanda, thank you again for having T3. Thank you for joining this partnership and for making our financial aid, scholarships, programs, support possible. We could not do this without you either. So appreciate you very, very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Dr. Cap and Amanda, for those words to all of you. There was one question that I wanted to address in the chat, and Carla did a fantastic job of answering it, but I just kind of wanted to say it out loud. Do you mind explaining the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans? And that's a really great question. So subsidized loans, basically, as long as you're enrolled at least 6 hours in college or in any institution of higher education, the interest does not accrue. So basically, you won't accrue any interest until you start repayment on those loans. The unsubsidized loans do. So you don't have to make any payments on the loans, but it will start slowly accruing that interest even while you're in school. So if you have the option and you are needing to take out those loans, you always want to take subsidized before unsubsidized, because the subsidized loans do not accrue that interest as long as you're in school. So there was a question: I've already received a financial aid award from UTA. Is the T3 scholarship included in this award, or is it awarded separately? Yeah, so again, you're not going to see you're not going to see T3 award, like whenever you look at the line items. You will likely see a combination of federal Pell Grant, Texas Grant, maybe some other awards that will cover the cost of your tuition and fees. And we are also working on sending a communication out to students who did qualify for that award to let them know that they did qualify and to check their financial aid packages. All right, guys, do we have any other questions here? Yeah, Dr. Cap did drop our great contact email addresses for us in the chat. So utat3@uta.edu, that goes directly to myself and Carla. So we monitor that for any questions that come in that are UTA specific or also T3. But if you wanted to talk to someone at T3, support@t3partnership.org is where you'll want to send those questions. And I'll just kind of check the last one here. Yeah, it looks like, just to kind of say this as well, it looks like we had a few of our students had some just specific questions about their specific accounts. And what I would recommend to do in that situation is send us an email to utat3@uta.edu so that we can pull it up. If we need to, work with our financial aid office, we're happy to do that too. Or if you want to give me a call at some point, we can definitely set that up too, or a virtual meeting. I'm happy to do that as well. So just let me know, shoot us an email. We can definitely look into that. So will the email come to our personal or our UTA email? So basically, once you've been accepted and everything and you set that UTA email, we want you to get used to using that UTA email because that's what you're going to be using while you're here. So your financial aid package, any communications, those are going to be going to your UTA email. All right, guys, I'll give it just another minute for any last questions. I'll give it just a minute for any kind of last questions coming in here. But again, I just want to thank y'all for being here. Y'all are, doing the right thing by attending these type of events where you can stay on top of things and be learning about what your next steps are. A lot of times, we see students who may have missed things along the way, and so attending events like this is the perfect opportunity for you to make sure that there's not something you're missing. Make sure, I'll just, plug, of course, to check your MyMav, check your UTA email, because we do like to post things there for you to let you know about, if there's something that's coming up.
Michael, if I could make one more announcement, kindly,
Sure, let me put you live here.
So
yeah.
Perfect. Just wanted to mention just real quickly that we are continuing to send a monthly T3 Scholar newsletter, and that's going to the email address that you gave us in your T3 pledge. It should be your personal email addresses, not your UTA email addresses, but your personal. The one that was sent last week had a save the date for June 12th, 2021. It's going to be our first event. It's virtual this year given COVID, but we're going to celebrate you. Your families are invited. We're inviting about 3,500 students, and we have some phenomenal giveaways, speakers, maybe some entertainment that will probably be by somebody that you recognize. We'll share all the news in the coming weeks, but that was a save the date. Again, it's June 12th. It's a Saturday. It's going to be from 10 to noon. That first hour is going to be celebratory. We'll talk about exactly what bridge programming looks like from a program level. We'll talk about all the things, but it's mostly to celebrate you and to give you a lot of good information. The second hour will be specific to the institution that you're attending. So in this case, UTA will have a session on June 12th from 11 to noon. And again, the whole time period's from 10 to noon, including the other event. So look out for information. We'll share more in the coming weeks. You'll have to register, but it is something that all T3 scholars are asked to join. We'll have the president of UTA share some great words with you of encouragement and a lot of good things ahead. So wanted to just note that particular piece. And then again, the email support@t3partnership.org is always available to you should you have specific T3 questions moving forward. So June 12th, 10 to noon, and check your personal email for more updates. Thank you so much, Michael.
Hey, Dr. Cap, while we've got you there, can you talk about the community service and how to submit that?
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you took the pledge, you might remember that there is a requirement for community service. And this really, y'all, is just to help underscore the importance of giving back to the community. Many of you are already doing community service. You can count those hours. These are not extra hours. But we know that it's been a tricky year with COVID. So you can do one of two things. There is, in last week's email that you received, there was a form for you to submit your hours. You can do that, submit your hours, but there's also an option in that form to say that because of COVID, you have not had the opportunity to do community service. So we will not penalize, if you will, students who cannot do the community service requirement for this first year. You just let us know that you weren't able to do it. That form is on our website, t3partnership.org. Again, check your email if you have questions or didn't receive your newsletter last week with the link. Email us at support@t3partnership.org and we'll get that form to you. But the deadline's July 31st. You have to just complete that form. And again, it can say, yes, I've done these hours, we'll verify those with you, or unfortunately, because of the pandemic, I was not able to participate in community service. So either way, just let us know so we can make sure that we have that accounted for you. And then community service, if you're receiving a last dollar scholarship and participating in T3, which U.S. scholars will be, community service will be required every year. It's 8 hours, and we'll have some different things for us to do together as a group, things individually. So we'll communicate that to you in the coming months and years, because this is going to be a partnership for a while. Again, our goal is to give you that information along the way. So we'll communicate certainly after the pandemic what those expectations are as we move forward. Great. All right, Michael, any other questions I can help answer from a T3 perspective?
Let me take a look at the chat here. We had a couple other questions come in, I think. Let me just scroll here.
One thing I know that was mentioned before was whether or not this was going to be recorded. If it is, we'll work with UTA to make sure that everyone gets the recording. But again, if you have questions or we send it to you or we want us to send it to you directly, email us at one of those email addresses as mentioned, and we'll make sure to get it your way. But that was a great question, and if it is recorded, we'll make sure everyone gets it.
There was another question about community service. Will it look better if our hours are from different places or from one place is fine?
Great question. You can do them wherever you would like. So if your whole 8 hours are from the same place, that's certainly okay. That is the requirement. I will put, actually, before we get off today, I'll put a link in the chat that has ideas for community service for those that might have questions. There's some information that we just put up last week that shares what is considered community service and what is not considered community service. And so babysitting, for instance, would not be community service. I know we've gotten that question. So I'll put that link in there for you, but great question. It can be from the same place if that's what's best for you. You can get that done in a day or two. Again, total of 8 hours for the year. So know that that's certainly an option. And I'll put that link in the chat in just a bit.
I muted myself. That's love the virtual environment, and you know, it wouldn't be a virtual presentation without you not unmuting yourself at least one time, right? So, but anyway, again, thank you, Dr. Cap, for going over that. And with that, I don't see any other questions coming in, so I think we will end the presentation there. Again, just want to let you all know, if you have any other questions, please reach out to us so that we can get your questions answered. And for those of you who were looking for that T3 last dollar award, we should be sending out those communications soon. So be on the lookout for that. And we really look forward to seeing you at UTA next fall. We are happy to help with any questions you have along the way, whether that's registering for orientation, getting, TSI, anything like that, we can get you sent over to the right place. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your night, and Mav up.